Well, here we are outside the town hall, Salle Paroissiale de Saint-Hélier, written in French. Of course, we're waiting for the French invading force to arrive. But it's amazing, isn't it, just what we're waiting for them, how young soldiers are today. These are presumably cadets, boys and girls over there. I suppose they're all dressed up in their camouflage. I don't know camouflage against what. I'm not sure. They're sort of vaguely camouflaged against the granite. I mean, obviously not as, if you look at the other guy, a classic 18th century soldier there. I mean, he's more like dressed up for target practice, isn't he, really? But I have mixed feelings about these events, obviously. A bit of pageantry is very nice, and these events have to be remembered, but it's war, isn't it? So much war. Remembering war. And I don't know, I'm not very happy about it, really. Here's the men with the drums. So these are the Scottish contingent. Of course, Major Pearson was from Yorkshire. And bear in mind, I presume he had to walk all the way down from Yorkshire to get involved in this fracas against the French. The French are mostly convicts, as far as I can make out. The more you read, the more you learn about these events, don't you? They weren't willing participants, the poor old French. And of course, really, as we've said before, they were fighting. It was an American War of Independence. That's what it was really about. And the Channel Islands then, rather like today, were acting as great centres of naughtiness, because they were capturing the fleets of privateers and smugglers, of course, working out of these islands, being naughty against the French and the Dutch and the Spanish and the Americans, capturing a lot of American ships. Of course, the American dispute was basically about lack of representation. They paid taxes. They didn't want to pay their taxes to maintain an army in America, and other things as well. So they broke away. And of course, it's surprising, really, that Jersey, Guernsey didn't get caught up in that same argument, because it was always was a dispute about raising taxes in the Channel Islands to use for the United Kingdom. So it's a question which has been hedged for, not hodged, that's something totally different, hodged, but it's been hedged for years and years, about how you can call these places British and yet at the same time not raise taxes here. So there's all little, you have to allow the Channel Islands, that's what the British view has always been, to have their little bit of a naughtiness, whether it's smuggling, privateering, piracy, a lot of the privateering was piracy, or acting as a tax finance centre, or regulation haven, or heaven forbid that we should call it a tax haven. Oh, I washed my mouth out. So here we are, this is the start of today's procedure. We'll see what goes on. Fairly traditional, and of course this is the year of Liberation 75. We've had, since the occupation came to an end, the liberation, every year there's some sort of a celebration. And as we know, my favourite subject, human rights, never gets on the agenda. It's always marching about and eating cream buns, and that's more or less what it is. Fair enough, if that's what freedom is, but you can't have freedom without following your human rights and adhering to international standards, which of course is what the Americans said they were doing back in 1775, which is what this was all about, and it led to this confrontation in 1781. So there we are. This is, we have to see things in their historic perspective. Well, the pipes are playing, so the Scots are assembling. Troops are assembling. They're about to march off into war. Nothing like the sound of pipes to get people to go and die for their country, and the way it is. There's always the little chap there, look, the little children, very young children, dressed up as soldiers. Of course, very young children did get killed in battle. Very, very young. Carrying the flag. flag, another flag. With everything that went on in the 18th century, all the wonderful philosophy, rethinking the science, astronomy, religion, all these discussions that go on, it's strange that we love to remember the wars, we love to remember the fighting, the killing, and we love to celebrate that. What a shame we're not celebrating a bit more discussion about the philosophy, because human rights, that was one of the great thoughts of the 18th century, the rights of man, Tom Paine, all that stuff, French Revolution, all being discussed and analysed, trying to make a better world for everybody, the common man, not just serving big business, because there was big business of course then, a very largely agricultural community in Jersey, apart from the privateers and the smugglers. The same in France. The French government had to be overturned because the people were sick of the aristos. And so it goes on. There's always this battle. But what a shame we have to remember. I mean, it's all very colourful, it needs to be remembered. Yes, it needs to be remembered. The fighting needs to be remembered. We need to be warned. You know, somebody's just shot down an aircraft the last few days by mistake. You know, and 180 or something people killed in a flash, just like that. And that's modern warfare. And that can hit us at any time.
Order right! Quick! Halt!
And off they march into the sunset.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a care, mind your ears, particularly the youngsters.
And the reason it was introduced was because of the plaintiff of the day wanted to increase by 1 year the men's service of people joining men's service. And it went from 15 years to 16 years. And the governor of that day wasn't going to have that because he was losing manpower as far as his recruitment was concerned. So he introduced the cadet force. And you joined the cadet force at the age of 13 and you'd enter van service at 16. So it wasn't a reduction in the military service, it ended up as an increase of 3 years. And that is what we have now represented in our cadet force, who we are very proud of, and also cadet forces of the Royal Navy and also of the Royal Air Force, which we also have the privilege of having on the side. I hope I haven't bored you with this, but getting underneath the skin of Jersey history, and what we have and the people we owe our indebted to for keeping us free, keeping us independent, and keeping us with a smile on our faces is all important to me, and I hope all important to you as well. So thank you very much, thank you for coming, and I now must hand you over to...
And in service, and grant them wisdom and strength for all they do. And may we look out for one another, helping and protecting those in need around us. May we trust you for the future, whatever it brings, knowing that you are the same yesterday, today, and forever. Amen.
Well, I'm in the Major Pearson pub. I was just having a drink to the Major. Here he is, remembering, I'm sure he used to like to have a dram. There he is, he's now a tourist attraction, of course. Get yourself shot if you want to become a tourist attraction, that seems to be the thing, but there we are. This is how history is made. Well, this is the famous picture, the Copley picture, and right in the middle you can see the statue, George II. He saw it then, and he's still up there, look, today, still overseeing the procedures. He's seen it all. He's the only person here who was here then, and he's still here now. I've just been across and had a drink to the Major Pearson in his pub, and they didn't have any hot toddies or anything, but there we are, the Pearson. It's called the Pearson. Just over there. So, you know, this is how it goes on. Unfortunately, Jersey's being turned into a war monument. Everywhere you go, it's castles, forts, from about 1300 onwards, Second World War, German forts, German monuments to war, and more memorials. It's becoming an obsession. I do wish they'd move on to more peaceful activities.